Hello everyone, it's Josh Kessel from the Monroe County Public Library, and I'm here to talk to you today about another piece of digital creativity software that you can use at home completely for free. And this time I'm talking about Photopea. It's available from photopea.com, and it's actually not anything that you even have to install. It's a web app, so anywhere you have access to the internet, you can use this app, though I do recommend using something with a mouse and a keyboard just for ease of use. But in theory, you can really use it on any device. So first I'm going to go over what this program is, and if you're looking at this and thinking it looks familiar, that's because this is meant to be an alternative to Photoshop. And what the author of this program has done is created as many of the Photoshop features as they could and put it into this app. So we have things like our brush tool, move tools, quick selections, smart selections. We have filters that you can apply. There are just a ton of different things that you can use, and it's compatible with Photoshop files, image files of pretty much any format that you would like to use, and it's pretty versatile. So that in mind, what I'm going to do is show you how to do something on here to kind of show off, the power of the program and how it can compete with something like Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is actually colorize a black and white image that I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that up and open a black and white image. And we have a squirrel here. If we zoom in on the squirrel, we can see that there's lots of detail that we're going to need to color in. So we might have something where, let me get my cursor here so you can see this a little better, where we put darker colors, like on his arm here and on the back, maybe on the tail, this is even darker here, and then on the belly and neck fur, it's going to be a little bit lighter. We know that, so what we could do is, add a different layer, or maybe use a Recolor tool, or, adjust layers and things like that. But what I'm going to do is add an adjustment layer here to put color on the entire image. And I'm going to use this menu down here. You can apply adjustment layers up here in our menus, but this has really quick, easy access to the color fill filter or adjustment filter that we're going to use. And so I'm going to hit color fill here. And it doesn't matter what color you're on. If yours by default is a different color, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to set it to yellow because why not? It doesn't matter what color we pick, so I'm just going to hit OK. Now you're going to see that my screen has turned yellow, and that's because we've applied a solid filter, or a solid layer, over the background layer. So if we hide it, you can still see the background's there. If we show it, you can see that it's not. So what we're going to want to look at is in the Layers menu here, we have the adjustment layer, and then we have the mask for that layer. So the adjustment layer is the solid fill yellow, and probably the first thing that we want to do is change that to a different mixing mode. So right here it says normal, and that's just kind of like a flat color. There are different things that you can use here. You can use multiply, darken, lighten colors. If I picked lighten, you can start to see the image. But what I really want to use is color here. And that's going to apply my chosen color in a different manner that makes it a little bit more viewable. So now you can see that we have this yellow tinge over the squirrel, which is fine. And, if we wanted to paint out this yellow color, all we need is our brush tool. And let me close off that. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. And what we would want to do to remove this would be to have the black color selected. So you're using black and white, and black is saying, I don't want the filter here, and white is saying, I do want the filter here. So let's go to the brush tool and show you what that looks like. So I have the black brush on, black's on top here, and make this larger so you can see. And I need to actually click the mask. If I try to color with this left-hand box selected, it's going to say the layer is not editable. And if I go to the background and put something, it's going to make it black because I have black selected. So what I want to do is click the mask here, and then I can draw in where I don't want the yellow to be. So I can, draw around. You can see now it's changed the mask here. You can see it kind of preview here on this right box, the black, where we don't want the mask to be. And conversely, if we use the white to paint over it, you can see that it removes, let me remove this whole left side so it's a little bit easier to see. It actually removes that from the mask. So now we can see that we're editing this mask here. We're not editing the background, we're not editing the color selection here, we're editing this mask. So I'm going to remove everything from this, and the way that I think this would be easiest to work with would be to invert this. So I want to hit Control-I or Command-I, and now what I want to do is paint white where I want the mask to be, because you can see it's all black, which means that there's no mask, and we can see that here. And so if we use the white brush, we can apply our mask. And you can see this isn't a good color. I could go through in our mask, or in our adjustment layer tools here, and go to the properties. And oh, I don't think I have the right thing selected. Let me select this and then go to the properties. If I can actually click the right thing there, sorry about that. So you can see that this color is yellow here, and that's probably not good. I mean, I could pick a brown color, and that's actually pretty good. You can see that putting that on the squirrel would probably look fine, but probably a better thing to do would be to have a reference image. So what I'm going to do is get a reference image, and I'm just going to copy this. I just Google searched for squirrel, get a good image. I want to click on the background, and I want to paste it. So it is possible to paste it into the mask, and it kind of like produces a negative effect. If you did that, just undo it and paste it on the with the background selected. And this is probably a little bit too big. It's actually very big. So let's go to the Move tool. Let's click on it, and you need transform controls enabled to get these little resize corners. So I'm going to resize it here, make it a little bit smaller, zoom back out, go back to my adjustment layer, go back to my brush, and then go into properties again. And now what I can do is click this and then zoom in on my squirrel, or I think I have to be zoomed in first, so let's zoom in on the squirrel. Click back on the color, and now I can just click on the squirrel and get that color. So I'm going to click right here. You can see it picked a color from his arm, and if I click the green, this will be green. If I click the white, it'll be more of a white color. But if I click, somewhere in here, it's going to be more of this brown. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to close this. And what I'm going to do is actually it's already reset this color. So this was a little bit different. It's probably a little bit, I can't remember if I had the yellow or what on here, but it was a little bit different color here. So what we can do is hide this since we're not using it. And if you need to fix something, so right here I kind of went crazy and put too much on, you can select the black brush and then just remove it. You can use things like feather, you can mess with the opacity here to get the color where you want it. You could probably adjust the channels to do something a little bit different. But what you do is just, add color and refine the edge of it until you have something you like. So what I'm going to do is bring the scroll back up, add a new adjustment layer with a color fill. I'm just going to set this to black, and I want to change this back to color. And then I want to change the color of it here. So let me go and change this to, you know what? Actually, let me sample something from my squirrel. Let's do that. So I'm gonna get this and then click on my squirrel somewhere. So let's click on his head, get this darker brown. I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'm gonna let the mask be reapplied there. And I am going to do the same thing by inverting it. Control-I on the mask. Now I can click on my mask here again, zoom back in, and now I can paint in this other color. And oh, I'm using the black. So you need to be on the white brush to paint in. So you can paint in, and you can see now it's kind of painting over this image with that darker shade. And you know, I can resize my brush and then only get the areas where I want it to be darker. So it's kind of a small brush here, but you can see on his leg, get the move tool so you can see this right here, that it's a little bit grayer, and it's probably a little bit too close to the black and white to really show you what it, what you're really looking at. So let me change this real quick. I'm just gonna make this a little bit darker. I'm just gonna make this real dark brown here, and then click off that. Now click back on my brush tool. I can also use B as a shortcut. It's good to know shortcuts, that way you can do things a little bit quicker. And being on the mask, if I paint it, you can see now that it's a little bit grayer. It's like maybe a little bit greener than what it was. Again, not a large difference, but you can layer these things. You can pick a completely different color. Like say we have some blue or something. And now you can see that it's changed that all to blue for this mask. So if we had a tan and blue squirrel, we could recolor it. So that's what you can do piece by piece. You can add layers, you can add the adjustment layers, and then you can reorder them so you can put things on top or below, and you can do like a bottom layer, and then you can do some sort of adjustment above it. And you can really do that to get your photos recolored. You can move things around. I actually think I clicked two things together there. You can combine the masks, but we're not going to get into that. It's a good way to do different things, but we're not really going to mess with that today. But yeah, you put these in whatever order that you want, that you think that they look best in. So maybe his belly fur is going to be this blue color, and then his coat is going to be this tan color. And then we can go through and sample greens for the leaves, browns for the bark, zoom in and get these details colored in. And you want to do a different adjustment layer for every color. And so you don't have to go into the menu. You could duplicate this. So let me get that and just Control C and Control V it. Actually, I think I didn't have this selected. So you want to duplicate this, and then you can just change the color in here, but that will change the mask as well, or that'll keep that default mask. But you can just paint, or you could fill it in with black and then pick your color and do a different thing. So let me show you that. Let me just go in here, and then I'm going to change this to a black brush. And I'm going to make it really large just to cover the whole thing, to remove any mask on this. And now you can see it's gone solid black. And now, if I change the color to a red, we're going to make it something that's very noticeable. And then zoom in. And then be on the mask. Oh, and be off black. Whenever I color in, I'll get that red color. So again, make sure you're on the white brush to apply your mask, black to remove. And let me just switch this over here. So black to remove, white to apply. Make sure that you're clicked on the mask to apply the color. And know that you can see the previews and that you can use either brush to color or remove parts of it. And then you could hide this. And slowly but surely, you can add color to your images. So you can really bring things to life. This isn't super artistically detailed, but if you take your time, you can produce something that's really cool. So with that, I invite you to do this, share your results with us, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.